What's up, guys? We're back doing another breakdown of predictions video. This one is going to be for the PFL Challenger Series 2023 number 1. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. You're getting the best breakdown of predictions on YouTube. And besides that, guys, hit the like button, comment down below, and let's get into this first fight with Mustafa Rashid Netta taking on Nick Ali. And for Mustafa Netta, he's making a comeback. He hasn't fought in 3 years. I haven't been able to find any information as to why he had the layoff or why he always decided to return, and I don't know how he got linked up with the PFL to get this opportunity either, but at the end of the day, he has to be grateful for it, and it's definitely not going to be an easy win because he's 35 years old at this point, and his style from what I saw, unless it's changed during his layoff, isn't going to age too gracefully. He's a hands-down striker who likes to utilize a wide stance, bouncing out of range, try to land 3-2s, a lot of kicks. He's light on his feet, he can pull counter pretty well, and he has decent deceptive athleticism. His kicks are alright too. He holds his hands low, and he's been clipped in fights I've seen. He has a knockout loss on his record. His defense could be better, and now coming back years later at an older age, his time and his distance could be off, and it could lead to him getting hit a lot. But he's at his best when he's at range, manipulating distance, slowing the fight down with his counters, and using his striking prowess. And he tends to wrestle when he gets tired or pressured, and he has below average wrestling in my opinion. Gets himself in trouble with it. He can end up on bottom after shooting bad takedowns, and overall he's not that effective in getting fighters to the ground. When he can finish a double against the cage, he hasn't shown much of a danger factor or great control on top, and his defensive wrestling looks pretty non-existent. His grappling is very questionable, but he's fairly explosive, and he's able to bounce back up to his feet in the couple times that I have seen him taken down. He's a striker at heart, so if you mix in the wrestling and grappling against him, that is a path to victory. He's been submitted before. His cardio isn't the best either. He gets tired in the third round. And Nick Ali, he's a striker as well. On the feet, he isn't very athletic or fast, but he's tall. He keeps a high guard, stays active with the jab to the body, to the head. He'll try to come over the top with the crosses and overhands, mixing a lot of low kicks. He isn't really very dangerous with the striking overall. He'll let a good amount of volume out there, but he tends to close the space and fall into the clinch a lot too. His takedown defense is not great, nor is his wrestling offense. He has a few submission wins, but they came against really bad opponents. His one decision win, he was able to win a sloppy back and forth grappling match where both guys lost position multiple times. Durability-wise, Ali has a bad chin. He's been finished by strikes in all 5 of his losses. He's not fought in over a year either, so this is really a crapshoot fight. Cardio-wise, I'll say Ali has the advantage there, but I'm going to go with Netta. I just feel he's more athletic. I was more impressed with him, and he's probably going to be able to find that knockout shot. He's faster and more dynamic, and Ali, unless he could stick in the fight, gas Netta out and take over, I don't really see it happening for him. It's not easy to trust a 35-year-old coming off a 3+ year layoff, but I'm going to side with him against another fighter I don't find to be very impressive who's coming off a year layoff himself. And, you know, looking at the odds for this one, they got Netta as actually a decent favorite at -200, which, you know, I can't really get down with that. I would line it more closer to a pick-up, maybe Netta like a -150, -140-ish price tag. But just total pass for me. I mean, I think that the fight's not going to go to decision, but that's at a -325 as well. So just not really a lot of value in any of these fights. They have opened up a lot of props for this one, but even Netta winning inside the distance at -165, I don't really see a lot of value there. The only way I could see where you could potentially get value is betting on Ali to win by submission or win by KO TKO, which I don't see as a very high likelihood outcome, but I think that, you know, fading a guy and betting on a guy to finish someone that's 35 kind of layoff is never a horrible angle, and you're getting plus 650 for the submission, plus 1,000 for the knockout, so the odds are a lot better than Netta winning by KO TKO at -105, and I don't see Netta getting a submission, so yeah, I mean, I think Netta's going to get the win here by knockout. I'll say that he gets a KO in the second round, but this is pretty low-level fight right here to kick off the card. This next fight here is a little bit of a letdown, as it was originally scheduled to be Joseph Whitner taking on Kimo Otani, the only man to beat Alex Pereira, the 2-division jungle fight champion, but Otani was forced to pull out with the injury, so now Zach Jusula is coming in on 4 days' notice. He was getting ready to fight February 3rd, so hopefully he's going to make weight and be in shape, but Joseph Whitner is making his United States debut. He's 16-2. So he's done really well so far. He's won 4 fights in a row. He looks prime for this opportunity. Zach Jusula, he's 12-9. Crafty journeyman fighter. He He started his career 11-3. He looked promising at one point, but since 2017, he's only gotten one win in his last 7 fights. Currently, he's on a 2-fight losing streak. One thing about Jusula that you do have to give him credit for, though, is he's always taken tough fights, and a lot of the time on short notice. So he definitely has experience, and he's made fights tough for prospects, even in losses. But Joseph Whitner on the feet is faster, more diverse. He likes to use his lateral movement, foot speed to pull fighters in the straight right hand, left hook, and leg kicks. He's powerful. He has solid timing. His defense is decent. But if you can get Whitner in the pocket, you can get to him. Zach Jusula is a boxer. He tries to throw some kicks, but they don't really have much snap to him. He's tall with a long reach. He's southpaw. He can switch stances. He does quite often. So he's tricky. He will use the jab to get inside, work hand combos. He's a little bit plotty, but when he gets inside, he has fast hands. He'll attack the body to open up the head. He has pretty good blitzes with his 1-2s. And he does tend to carry his hands low. He's available to be hit himself, and his chin is a little bit questionable. He's been knocked out in the past also, so I kind of question his durability. Joseph Whitner has been KO'd too, but I think he's more durable and has more power. Joseph Whitner is a good wrestler. He times the level changes well. He's explosive. Good job blending his striking and wrestling together and mixing it up. He has good control on top. He can grind it out. Decent guillotine. His defensive wrestling is on point too, and overall he's a big, strong, explosive fighter. He's hard to hold down, take down. Zach Jusula, he has questionable wrestling, and his grappling is okay. He does have a decent clinch game. He'll use his length to try to get double underhooks and hit trips. And if fighters overextend on him, he could shoot in and hit a double. But his wrestling is not really all that effective. He can get out-muscled. His takedown defense isn't good either from what I've seen. And his get-up game isn't bad, even though he exposes his back to stand up. He's also solid at staying calm and not getting finished in bad positions. He doesn't have much of a submission game to speak of, but he's a veteran. He can survive. Both fighters have good cardio, and I think this fight should be a pretty easy win for Whitner as long as he doesn't stand in front of Jusula. Jusula doesn't have that one-shot power, so for him to win, I think he's going to have to do damage early somehow, break his nose of Whitner with a jab or something, get him tired, and outwork him. But Whitner's going to be much faster. He's going to move around, and Jusula has a questionable chin, and Whitner can also make takedowns as well to keep Jusula guessing. This is a fight that, Jusula should win, and I think he's going to land that left hook and Whitner should win, and I think he's going to land that left hook and put Jusula out in the second round. So give me Joseph Whitner to get the job done in this one. I think that he should be a pretty sizable favorite. The line hasn't opened up yet for him, but I would line him at like a, minus 400 range. But I think Jusula, he is a little bit tricky, but I just don't think he's going to be able to get the job done in this one. So I'm going to go with Whitner via second round KO, TKO. This next fight, we got a battle of two undefeated fighters. Both these fighters are solid prospects. Alakeen is tall, rangy. And this fight is going to be the shorter fighter. On the feet, I think Gene is far superior. Alakeen's stiff. He has a decent check hook, and his 3-2s are all right, but he's slow. Gene is much more diverse, dynamic, athletic. He throws nice combos. Even though he's still a little raw on the feet, I think he is vastly, he's like a K1 level striker in comparison to Alakeen. And Alakeen relies on fighters overextending, then he'll level change and get the takedowns, usually with the double, or try to circle to the back from standing. His grappling is good. He is going to have the edge if he can get on top. But Gene, I think, has the superior wrestling. I think he can muscle Alakeen in the clinch, and I think he's going to be able to keep the pace. He's a young, in-shape kid, so I see him getting the win most likely. Alakeen is someone who lets himself get backed up really easily, and if he can't get the wrestling going, I think he's going to be in danger on the feet. He got dropped in the first round against Hugh Pulley, and I could see Gene getting into that chin. We've seen Gene get some pretty big wins in the amateurs as well. He beat Delano Taylor, who won the $1 million as an amateur, so he's going to be confident in eyeing potential $1 million for himself now that he's getting close to the PFL. And I'm going to say that Gene wins by second round knockout in this one. Alakeen could potentially, if he wins, grind him out, get his back, and, hold him down and control him. But I think Gene's a little bit too athletic for that, too polished for that. And I think he's going to be able to get the job done inside the distance by second round knockout. The main event of the show, we got a bit of a mystery from a breakdown and prediction perspective, but cool matchup for jiu-jitsu fans especially. Lucas Barbosa, he's a jiu-jitsu world champion, extremely respected, accomplished on the jiu-jitsu circuit. And he has an affinity for MMA. He had 3 MMA fights, 2 in 2011, 1 in 2012. He lost his first MMA fight, then won his next 2 against the same opponent. after those 3 fights, he focused solely on jiu-jitsu, but now he's gotten the itch back, and over 10 years have passed, but he's come back at 170. He's only 30 years old, so he should, be able to translate to the game fairly well. And Itsu Babalatsi took advantage of an opportunity last year at the PFL, and now he's trying to parlay that into a contract. He actually had a very similar situation because he fought someone that was a specialist as well, a former Olympian with Mahmoud Fauzi Sebi, and he was able to go in there and figure out that specialist and beat him and get a bit of a name. He got a nice knockout, and now he's going to be looking to do that again. But when you look at Lucas Barbosa, he is a multiple-time world champion. This is going to be his first MMA fight since August 11, 2012. And, I don't know how much Barbosa was in the gym training for MMA-style competition in the last 10 years, but at least you could say he's been interested in fighting for a long time. He also had a couple fights fall through recently, so he's definitely been training or at least accepting MMA fights, focusing on MMA for almost a year. He had a fight briefly scheduled for PFL last year in August, but that never happened. And another fight scheduled that didn't come into fruition November 3rd, I believe, of last year for Freedom Fight Night 3. And it seems like we're going to see him walk into the cage for the first time, though, this time. And, Babalatse, he trains at Team Hunzo Gracie. So he does have probably some jiu-jitsu acumen, and he does use grappling in his fights. He's 2-0. So we'll see what happens. But Lucas Barbosa's striking is a total mystery. I have no idea how his striking will look, how he'll set up his takedowns with the striking involved. Itsu Babalatse was called up by the PFL to come in and fight Sebi. Like I said, he got a knockout. So he does have some power. And, I'm not really sure, how he's going to do, though, because I just don't think that his style is that dangerous for Barbosa. Barbosa isn't a jiu-jitsu guy who's butt scooting or can't wrestle. He's a physical guy with solid wrestling skills. He does a good job shooting doubles. His back trip is effective. If he can get on top against anyone in the world, good luck. He's incredibly heavy. Pressure passes seamlessly. Back takes. His submissions from there phenomenal. This is a guy who submitted Gilbert Burns, a lot of other amazing jiu-jitsu competitors. Cardio-wise, I have no idea how he'd be with that. He finished 2 of his victories in MMA in the first round, and his loss was a split decision. If he can get it to the ground, he should dominate and win pretty easily. It's just if he can get it there, that's the question. For Babalatse, why I say I don't think his style is the best is because on the feet, he stands tall, and he can get taken on pretty easily. He pressures forward and is a little bit wild with the 1-2s and the 3-2s. His last fight, he did time an uppercut and got the one-punch knockout, which I'm sure he's going to be looking for in this fight, but he more likes to wrestle when he wins. He'll mix in level changes. He has good control on top, and obviously, in this fight, he's not going to have that avenue, or I don't think he'll want to go that route to try to win the fight. Takedown defense-wise, he doesn't have the best takedown defense. Like I said, he stands tall and pressures. And his last fight, he was taken out multiple times, but he weathered the storm and kept getting up and got the knockout. If he gets taken out in this fight, I doubt he's getting up, and he's probably getting submitted. So I think for Babalatse, it's just about making this fight as wild as he can, using experience to try to make Lucas Barbosa anxious on the feet and shoot bad takedown and then catch him with a big shot and knock him out. But I think Barbosa is going to get the takedown and sub early in this fight. From a betting perspective, I don't really see value in Barbosa at over minus 200 where he's at right now at minus 240. Because I don't really know, his striking acumen or his cardio level. But I don't think Babalatse is a great bet either. They haven't opened a total for this fight yet. Or I believe, let me see. I think they just... Yeah, they haven't opened a total. They just have the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 600. So the total is probably not going to be a good value. Barbosa wins in round 1 is only plus 115. So I just don't see much here. Barbosa by submission is minus 150. So, yeah, if you want to side towards Babalatse, get another upset again, the money line isn't really that juicy at plus 190. But him by knockout... if you want to go that route, you can get it plus 300, which, once again, I don't really think those odds are that great. So I would go with Barbosa. I think he's going to get the win by first-round submission. But, I don't really like this card from a betting perspective. I don't think there's many spots that really warrant much. I think Whitner is a pretty safe pick. And probably my second most confident pick would be Thad Jean. But, yeah, I just feel like this card's kind of weak, and I don't really like it from a betting perspective. But those are the 4 predictions that I do have for the PFL Challenger Series Week 1. And if you want to get more content like this, if you want to get my predictions for ACA 151, my predictions for Fury FC 73, and my predictions for a lot of events and a lot of different type of content moving forward, go to patreon.com/MMAPredictionGuru to check that out. You'll get access to all the bets that I have this weekend and even more breakdowns. And outside of that, guys, put comments down below. Do you agree with my picks? And like the video up. But yeah, man, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for watching.